Hi Reddit, buckle up because this is a pretty wild story, and I need to know if I'm being petty or just protecting myself. To start, a 29-year-old woman, was engaged to a guy named Ethan, who is 31, about a year ago. We had been together for 4 years and were making plans for a life together. Ethan and I were serious, but my family was involved in our relationship in ways that weren't always positive. Specifically my uncle Tom, who is 52, and his daughter Talia, who is 24. Talia is my cousin, and let's just say she's always been a bit of a princess. She's used to getting what she wants, no matter what it takes, and my uncle Tom has indulged her every whim. Long story short, Talia took a liking to Ethan. She always flirted with him at family gatherings, but I didn't think much of it because, well, she's my cousin and Ethan was my fiancé. I trusted him. But as our wedding got closer, Ethan started to act distant. He'd forget to come to wedding planning meetings, ignore my calls, and spend suspicious amounts of time with my uncle and Talia under the guise of family bonding. But within a few weeks, my worst fear came true. Ethan broke off our engagement, and not even a month later, he and Talia were officially dating. My uncle even threw them a lavish party to celebrate. I was devastated. It felt like a betrayal from all sides. My fiancé, my family, and even Talia, who didn't seem to care about what she'd done. It took everything I had to move on. And to add insult to injury, my family largely supported Talia and Ethan, buying into my uncle's twisted narrative that Ethan was meant for her all along. I went through months of heartbreak, feeling abandoned by everyone. Well, life has a funny way of working things out. My grandfather passed away recently, and it turns out that he left a sizable inheritance to me. He knew what had happened and how my family had treated me, and I think this was his way of giving me justice. When the will was read, my family learned that I was the main beneficiary, and they got next to nothing. They were furious, of course, but my grandfather's decision was final. Meanwhile, Ethan and Talia's relationship started to go downhill. It turns out that Ethan isn't exactly the Prince Charming Talia thought he was. He quit his job, barely contributes financially, and has a tendency to disappear for days at a time. He's left Talia high and dry more times than I can count, and I've even heard from mutual friends that he's been cheating on her. Now, here's the kicker. My uncle recently reached out to me, apologizing for how things turned out and saying he's realized that Ethan isn't good for Talia. He actually suggested that I consider taking him back, as if Ethan was just a misplaced item they want to return now that it's defective. My mother also chimed in, urging me to forgive and restore the family harmony. They're all pretending like they didn't support Ethan and Talia when they betrayed me, like I'm supposed to forget how they abandoned me. But here's the thing, I'm no longer that heartbroken woman they once knew. I've worked hard to rebuild my life, and I don't want anything to do with Ethan, especially after seeing his true colors. I told my uncle that they're welcome to keep Ethan, and he's Talia's problem now. Needless to say, they were not happy with that response. Now, the family is split. Some of them think I'm being spiteful for holding on to the inheritance and refusing to take Ethan back, while others quietly support my decision. My uncle, Talia, and Ethan are all struggling financially, and it's clear they see me as a lifeline. But after what they did, I don't feel any obligation to help. So Reddit, am I the asshole for refusing to take back my ex-fiancé after my family betrayed me and stole him from my cousin? And for keeping the inheritance that my grandfather left me, which they believe should be shared among the family? I can't help but feel like this is justice, but I'd love to know if I'm being too harsh.